Iceland. Island country located in North Atlantic Ocean, lying on the constantly active geologic border between North America and Europe. Iceland is a land of vivid contrasts of climate, geography, and culture. Sparkling glaciers such as Vatna Glacier.
Europe's largest lie across its ruggedly beautiful mountain range. Abundant hot jerseys provide heat for many of the country's homes and buildings, and allows for hothouse agriculture year-round. And the offshore Gulf Stream provides a surprisingly mild climate for what is one of the northernmost inhabited places on the planet.
In its central area are the highlands with some peaks, volcanic jerseys and large glaciers, included the second largest on the continent. Its rivers are formed by the melting of the snows in that sector. Its channel of the island towards the coast with rugged roads and colorful waterfalls.
Especially to the north and west. The coast is rugged with bays and fjords. The Republic of Iceland is one of the smallest sovereign countries in the world, similar to province of Santa Fe, and its geographical location is in northern Europe, of Great Britain and northeast Norway.
Is studded with hundreds of volcanoes, yet is home to Europe's largest glacier. It's perched on the edge of the Arctic Circle, yet is warmed by the Gulf Stream. Iceland is the land of fire and night. It's also the land of the story. Such is the sheer force and beauty of this place that Viking warriors have been transformed into poets and family stories into epic sagas. When Norseman Ingvar Emerson first got sick of these shores over 1100 years ago, he cast the wooden sea pillar of his children's throne over an wood to build his farm wherever they washed up. 3 years later, the pillars were found and the century was born. The century became Reykjavik, Iceland's capital, a city 2/3 of Iceland's now called home. With a population of only 300,000, Iceland can feel like the most isolated place on earth. Yet, Reykjavik is only a short time away from major world cities. Reykjavik is one of these places that not sure if it's a big town or a small city, and their main place in charm. It is relaxed and welcoming, yet possesses and fires creativity and cultural life that holds its own against other European capitals. Most buildings here are responsive to the natural environment, simple and low, to beat the North Atlantic winds, colorful, to bring the spirits of the long dark winters. Yet there's grand civic structure here too, buildings truly inspired by Iceland's natural beauty. Like a spire from a fairy tale ice castle, the soaring central lower of Hallster watches over all of Reykjavik. In Iceland, there are spectral geological formations on the island and even the incredible phenomenon of the aurora boreals. Today, as Berchtesgaden serves as a museum that allows visitors to walk through the pages of early times, while the National Museum of Iceland takes a journey through Icelandic history from the present day to the time of the settlements. An eastern site in Iceland, located not far from Reykjavik, in an area known as the Golden Circle, which encompasses the earth of Iceland's greatest natural wonders. Also, the Golden Circle experiences a simmering cauldron of hissing steam vents and minute puddles of the hazard government field.
If there's one The Great Clash is represented by never see a brother student with the chemistry, spreading water into the sky every if there is one natural wonder is the golden shepherd or silly, or there is a purpose. A beginning of the last century, the water logistic match, a Halley County project until foreign sky, what would be building, reversing and the stood job of the fact on which the project is topic. Today, at the woman currently preached every stone is land, and golden water has been project forever for many history in this line. Adventure is the key of golden sake of gravity. I have seen because of the Morgue movie, the great adventure is land rain to run the interior design. Change with the graph of the left can be ethical design. I hope that everybody the everything on the was beautiful weather in the world. We will see to follow this part to the extent that 17 feet of the muy transparent the water. Every word and sensory number as when you have to take a break. Very of the holidays are living on another spot. Like that and to discover the what they actual people how to relate. Which is the proof and the begin a half parts. Years later than love to avoid the founded by try to remove it is the food is please. By honey the repeat more and later may have to. Though are you continue debate as that continue.
Here, bridges between the mountains and the sea are some of Iceland's more spectacular scenery, climate, and legends. You can also explore the basalt sands of Rock Beach, considered one of the most beautiful non-tropical beaches in the world. Here, on the tongue of Barnajökull, Europe's largest glacier, icebergs break off and flow for years, until they are small enough to fly into the sea. A magnet for photographers and filmmakers, Jökull alone has been the scene of modern legends such as James Bond, Batman, and Lara Croft. Close to the Midland region, whose centerpiece is Atlantic Lake, it is surrounded by beautiful and violent nature. The Kafra volcano is well known for its incredible geothermal powers that reside just below the ice. In Iceland, every south road is a story waiting to fall on an unlaring page which Icelanders write every day. So come and live your own Icelandic history, and I am sure you will have a lifetime.
In May 16, the United Nations released its annual World Happiness Report, which ranks more than 150 countries according to their quality of life. Okay, perhaps surprising, the tiny Nordic country of Iceland ranked higher than nearly every nation on this list despite its isolation, extreme weather, and long dark winters. So, what is like in Iceland and why are Icelandic people so happy? Well, in just about every sense, Iceland is small, at just under 40,000 square miles. The entire country, called fifth inside the U.S. state of Kentucky Island. Population of just over 3,000 is extremely homogeneous, with nearly 95% ethnic Iceland.
About two-thirds of its people live in Europe, the capital Reykjavik, which ranks as one of the safest, cleanest, and most eco-friendly cities in the world. And Reykjavik is not too different from the rest of Iceland, as the country runs almost completely on renewable geothermal energy and about extremely low crime rates in face fact in as one of the lowest per capita murder rate in the world with and for every two police and security have life presence and even the country's larger cities function more like small towns. Land people have a level of collect truths.
And as such are know how to keep values in view and send their young children to school by themselves. This cooperative mentality is reinforced by Iceland government infrastructure. The country is parliamentary republic and maintains a gender social welfare system that provides free education stock, college as well as health care and 9 months of paid parental leave for both mothers and fathers. As a result, most Icelanders are healthy, well educated and employed. The unemployment rate is just 5%, and the average Sairicon lives about 83 years, which is 12 years long than the global average. This can also be attributed to Icelanders' healthy lifestyles. A typical Iceland meal is a smorgasbord of organic produce, yogurt, and local fish. And the most popular leisure activities are ice climbing, kayaking, and going to the gym. Another national pastime is reading and writing. Iceland published more books per capita and translate more international literature than any other nation in.
The sports are widely regarded as a kind of civil rights and families. Teenagers and seniors are known to launch in them in near nudity every day. Some luggers are not only lauded for their health benefits, but also their ability to unite the community and build public trust expertise. Iceland's strong and build public trust experts say Iceland's strong sense of community has solidified their so-called. For example, after the 2007 global recession decimated the country's economy, some Icelanders actually reported greater happiness. Experts say this is because those who lost their jobs tended not to feel isolated, as Icelanders can count on their friends, family, and government for support with a healthy, educated population and a strong safety net. Life in Iceland doesn't look too bad, and Iceland isn't the only happy-go-lucky Nordic country. The rest of them are
Enveloped in endless files of untouched beauty, the secluded Nordic island of Iceland is huddled that it seems. However, unlike most modern associates which have given up their traditional beliefs and legends, many Icelanders still do not part with the existence of the Hodu folk best described as hidden elves who are mostly invisible to the people around them, except for those who, fortunately, can see this mysterious being Icelandic. Elves live in the shadows, among the rocks or in alcoves, which are in shading structures built for them by the locals. These small wooden houses are started all over the island, both in populated towns and the sand deserts, giving the elves a home and welcoming them into the local community. There are many small houses built for this purpose, but the holy folk also like to use other buildings and structures as their homes, so whose Boudur is one of hundreds of small salt sheds built by Icelanders in 20th centuries. Since the shed was located far from humans, the Huldefolk made it their home. There are numerous examples in Iceland where locals believe that hidden people have made horns, causing them to protect the area so that the hidden people are not disturbed. Stones should never be thrown in the island due to the possibility of accidentally hitting one of the little goblins. Huldefolk can be territorial. There are countries stories of roads and construction projects being stopped by elves when they cross into their territory. According to the machines mysteriously stop working, or some workers may be injured, breaking a leg or twisting an ankle. Fortunately, there are supposed mediums who can talk to occult people, helping them come to an agreement with the locals and keep everyone happy. Elves don't like electricity, churches, and crosses. There are many stories of hidden people invading farms during Christmas to hold wild parties. It is customary for Icelanders to clean their houses before Christmas and omit food for the Huldufolk at Christmas.
It's a tradition to leave candles on New Year's Eve to help the elves find their way through the night, because it is believed that is when they move to new locations for the year. Cells can turn humors, cows can talk, and if you set an intersection where the four roads lead to separate churches, the elves will try to seduce you with food and gifts. There are two stories that are widely accepted by Icelanders about how the Huldu folk came into existence. Both legends combine pagan stories that have been passed down for centuries with Christianity, which spread among Icelanders in the late 10th century. These hidden children became the first Huldu folk. The woman saw that the traveler was in shock and reluctantly revealed that he was a spirit without a body, or one of the hidden people who neither opposed nor supported Lucifer when they rebelled in heaven. The Huldufólk are not the only supernatural beings that inhabit Iceland. There are stories of great trolls who also call the Iceland home. The first widely known troll story is related to the beautiful black sand beach at Vik. According to legend, these basalt rocks are actually trolls with an unfortunate fate. While attempting to drag three boats ashore, the stone lake caught them, freezing them in place and turning them to stone, where they became a monument to supernatural creatures in Iceland. However, their history goes back to the past, though long before humans set foot on the island, when many types of mythical creatures, including the great trolls, what the land. These trolls were not as hardworking as those at Big Beach. Many trolls came and the party lasted for days. Iceland is a place where you can learn about folklore and hear histories of friendships between elves and humans.
Hi there and happy holidays. I'm Valentina Salinas and I'm so excited to be here to talk about some of my favorite Icelandic holiday traditions and read you a story that will definitely get you into the Christmas spirit. Iceland has many unique Christmas traditions, such as the Christmas book float or Yola polka floats, ensuring that everyone has a book to enjoy during Christmas. We also love decorating our homes and cities' streets with lights to welcome the holiday season. Perhaps Iceland's most well-known Christmas traditions is the story of the Yola Sernar or the Icelandic Yolans. Instead of just one Santa Claus, Iceland has 13 Yolats who come down from the mountains 13 days leading up to Christmas, one every night to bring children gifts and play a few pranks. Today we will reading the original tale of the Yule Lads titled Christmas is Coming. Let's begin. Let me tell you the story of the lads of few charms who once upon a time used to visit our farms. They came from the mountains, as many of you know, in a long single file to the farm stand below. Grilla was their mother. She gave them okra milk, and their father, Lepauli, a lothsol milk. They were called the Yolats at Yuletide. They were due and always came one by one, never 2 and 2, 13 altogether.
These gents in their prime didn't want to hurt people and allowed one time. Creeping up the stairs, they unlocked the door, the kitchen, and the pantry. They came looking for it. They hid where they could while a cunning look was near, ready with their pranks when people weren't near, and even when the safe were seen, they weren't located to room and play their tricks, disturbing the peace of the home. The first then was sheep called Cole. He came a stiff of wood to pry open the farmer's sheep, as far as he could. He wishes to suck the ears, but it was an accident. He couldn't. He had stiff knees not to come in it. Gullywag. The second was Gullywag, raised his head a minute. He snuck into the cow barn from his craving ravine, hiding in the stalls. He would steal the milk while the milkmaid gave a covert and manful smile. Stupid. Stupid was the third called a something little man who watched for every chance to wish of a pan, and scurrying away with it, he scraped off the bits and stuck of the bottom and breathed his favorites. A spoon liquor. The fourth was a spoon liquor, like spin, he was thin. He felt himself in clover when the cook was in. The sleeping up, he grappled the string spoon with glee, holding it with both hands for each sleep.
Pot scraper. Pot scraper, the fifth one, was a funny sort of chap. When kids were given scrapings, he'd come to the door and tap, and they would rush to see if there really was a guest. Then he hurried to the pot and had a scraping fest. Bow liquor. Bow liquor, the sixth one, was shockingly ill-bred. Right underneath the bedsteads, he stuck his ugly head, and when the balls were left to be licked by dog or cat, he snatched them for himself. He was sure good at that. George Lamer. The seventh was thus Lamer, a very vulgar chap. When people in the clinic would take a little nap, he was happy as a lark with the havoc he could wreak, slamming doors and headed the Higgins on 10th Square. Tipped the lid on the broth. Then he stood there glowing. His greed was well known until about the birds. He would beat wool and groan. Such Reaper. The night was Such Reaper, a shifted pilsper. He climbed up to the rafters and raised their foot from there. Sitting on the crossbeam, in salt and in smoke, he fed himself a such fit for going cold. Window paper. The tenth was window paper, a weird little treat, who stepped up to the window and stole a peek through it, and whatever was inside to which his eye was drawn, he most likely attempted to take later one. doorway sniffer. 11 was door sniffer, a doltish lad and gross. He never got a cold, yet had a Josh sensitive nose. He caught the scent of lace breed, while languished away still and rode toward it weightless, as wind over dale and hill. Mid-hook, 10-12-1, his talent will display as soon as he arrived on said circle day. He snatched himself a morsel of meat of any sort, although his hook at times was a teeny bit short. Condulbegar, the 13 was Condulbegar, that fool I believe if he was not the last of the lot on Christmas Eve.
He trailed after the little ones who, like happy sprites, ran about the farm with their fine tallow lights.
On Christmas night itself, so a wise man writes, the last were all restraints and just started at the lights. The one by one they trotted off into the frost and snow. On 12th night, the last of the last used to go. Their footprints in the highlands are affected now for long. The memories all turned to Imagine song. I hope you enjoy the story. Head to islandnaturally.com to learn more about Icelandic culture tradition